Welcome to Elevated Eventure, where we talk with industry experts dedicated to shaping unforgettable experiences. Whether you're planning, supporting, or attending, we're here to bring you insight, innovation, and inspiration for your next festival or event. I'm your host, David Sauers, and today we're recording from the 2025 Southeast Festival and Events Association Conference here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. This event brings together the best minds in the industry to share ideas, strategies, and success stories that make festivals and events truly unforgettable. Today's episode focuses on one of the true humble beginnings. This is really what festivals and events are all made about. This small town in Paintsville, Kentucky started a community tradition when the local apple farmers found themselves with an overabundance of apples, and they decided to meet up in town and sell them. 61 years later, we have the Kentucky Apple Festival. What an amazing feat. 61 years is really that hometown, honor that you just, it's almost like you have to come to the event, you have to go to it, it's like breakfast. It's a tradition. Please welcome Jeremiah Parsons from the Paintsville Tourism Association out of Kentucky. Thank you so much for being here, and I'm looking forward to hearing all about this Kentucky Apple Festival.
Well, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here. It's our first time attending this conference, and it's so far it's been a wonderful association and a great time of fellowship with folks that around the region that does the same things that we do, and it's interesting to see the excitement that's here and to get new ideas about festivals and events and things that people really want to share, and the knowledge, the information that comes from this festival has been very beneficial to us, and hopefully we can take that back home to our community and relate that to 61 more years of a festival in Paintsville, Kentucky.
I mean, y'all have achieved a huge milestone, and I want to dive deeper into that, like how y'all have been able to do that, how have y'all maintained that, what changes have you made to continue to elevate the event. I know that we talked a little bit earlier about COVID, but now we know that we're back up to pre-COVID numbers. You're continuing to grow. It's strong. Tell me more about give me some of the history about the Apple Festival.
Sure. So as you did in the intro, the Kentucky Apple Festival was started in Paintsville, Kentucky, 61 years ago, really 63 years. We took 2 years off for COVID, so we don't count those 2 years, but 63 years ago, farmers in rural Appalachia there in eastern Kentucky were growing apples, and they just had an abundance of apples left over, and they thought, what are we going to do? So they brought them to town, into Paintsville, on the courthouse steps, and they just had a little festival. They sold their products there, kind of like an auction item. And from there, they built the next year, they've done the same thing, and then it snowballed into what is now the Kentucky Apple Festival.
Wow. So back then, they were just selling the apples, but were they baking grandma's apple pie? Were they doing cider? Were they doing other different things and teaching people how to,
Absolutely. In those early days, they had the traditional old-fashioned contest. They had the apple pie, the apple jellies and jams contest that were there. They had those hometown feelings of, spelling bee contest and the math challenge and those sort of things that were just there, kind of a fun little festival, starting out very small, very humble, on the courthouse steps one afternoon on a Saturday, And then now it's grown to, it's a kind of a week-long event with different activities going on. The festival itself downtown runs Friday, Saturday, but we have Miss Apple Blossom pageant that goes on ahead of time. We have the Apple Run. We've got the car show that's going on. So there's lots of other activities that we've put into the festival, and we want to continue to rise and elevate what we're doing.
So you're really trying to encompass and just be a lot more inclusive, a lot of different things to attract people to coming over there. That's great. So is this the one of the largest apple festivals, or is this the longest in Kentucky?
Oh, it is the longest running apple festival in Kentucky for sure, and maybe even in the Southeast. 61 years, that's a long time. And we're finding out coming to the association that nobody else has a festival that's been going for strong for 61 years now.
Right, and so this, I mean, this started in community. You know, it's ingrained in the community, and I think that I was told by Miranda that there's a nonprofit side of this as well. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So the Apple Festival Committee is put together, and it is the Kentucky Apple Festival. It's a nonprofit organization. One of the biggest fundraisers that we do is our food vendors downtown for the festival are all nonprofit from our community. So everyone from the local fire department to the baseball team to the Masonic Lodge to the cheerleaders, everybody is there and they all raise money. It's their largest fundraiser during the year. For example, our 4-H office there, they do the caramel apples. That's their largest fundraiser during the year, and it's that sense of community and sense of pride and belonging, and it really helps those locals. And that's what we focus on is with our food vendors are the local nonprofits, and that's really it's one of the biggest things that we do. Now we do have for-profits there as well. You know, there's folks there with our arts and crafts vendors, with our merchant mart and that sort of thing. But for the food portion of it, it's hometown proud and hometown cooking.
That sounds delicious. That sounds delicious. You know, with everything, I know that we're talking about the Apple Festival, and we can keep going about that. But what else do y'all do in the tourism department?
So Paintsville Tourism is unique in the fact that we own and manage properties. We have the Mountain Home Place Farm, which is an 1850s working farm. We also are located along US 23 in Kentucky, known as a federal scenic byway called the Country Music Highway. We have more country music artists from that section of highway than anywhere else in the world. So we manage the Country Music Highway Museum, which has got folks like Loretta Lynn. Her home place is in Butcher Holler, you know, over in the little town called Van Leer, Kentucky. It's right beside of us. Chris Stapleton grew up just above our office, so you've got everyone along the highway from the Judds to Billy Ray Cyrus, Chris Stapleton, Tyler Childers, Patty Lovelace, Dwight Yoakam. Just to name some of the folks off the highway. So we have that facility. We also have the old historic SIP Theater, which is a vaudeville-style theater that opened in 1932, and that is still in use today, and that's a multi-purpose facility that does theater, dance recitals, concerts, different events that's downtown. And then we have the Stafford House, which is the oldest home in Paintsville, and that is a historic Victorian-era home that dates back to 1841.
Wow. So y'all can tell they have a lot going on. They've got their hands full. I know that you've got some staff here with you here at the SFEA. They told me they're extremely proud of you and a lot of the work that you do, especially in the children's theater. So what's that about?
So back home, one of my volunteer projects in my free time, if I have any, is I'm the director for Main Street Players. It's a children's community theater there in Paintsville. We don't charge any children to participate, and we produce Broadway-style musicals. We are currently working on Into the Woods, and we've been going strong since 2012.
That's amazing. You should be incredibly proud of yourself, and you know, like I said, I know that they are, and I'm sure that the kids are very grateful to have done that.
It's a blessing to be able to work with them and get to do what we do and to inspire folks in our own community.
Absolutely. So why don't you tell me, you know, let's plug Paintersville. Let's plug the Apple Festival. If you can tell me, you know, some of the social, how they can reach you, how they can find you, when it is exactly. And so, yes.
Sure. So the Kentucky Apple Festival is the first weekend in October. This year it's October 3rd and 4th. It's in Paintsville, Kentucky. You can find more information on kyapplefest.org or paintsvilletourism.com. Those also have Facebook pages. That's Paintsville Tourism and Kentucky Apple Festival. Those pages are on there. We invite everybody to come be a part of it. We have a really good time with vendors, with our locals, and with the entertainment. We always do a big concert every year that brings in national acts. Again, paintsvilletourism.com, kyapplefest.org are the two websites to go to.
Yes, and we'll have all the links down in the bottom for y'all to find, and please, this sounds like it's a trip worth making and staying a few more days, especially with everything that they've got going up there. So I always like to ask one thing, and it's sometimes it's a little touchy, but
Sure.
is there anybody in your life that you are grateful to for your journey that may not know that they, that you're grateful for what they've done,
I think there's two people that come to mind. I was a participant in the Upward Bound program at Pikeville College, which is a local community just down the road from us. Russ McIntosh was our director, and Charlene was our assistant director, and both of those touched my life. They exposed me to the world, really, getting out of Eastern Kentucky, traveling, understanding what it means to do more than self-serving, to be true servant leaders, and they've taught me that. And so that's what I do today. Is the lessons that I learned in high school with them has served me very well throughout my career, and those two are very influential.
See, that's wonderful to hear. And it's like everything, all of these people that are putting on these festivals and events, they're doing it for their community, they're doing it for the love, and I can't thank you enough for being on our podcast. So thank you for tuning in to this episode of Elevated Adventure. We appreciate you taking the time to listen, and we hope that we have provided some insight and exposure for this well-organized festival led by Jeremiah here. And if you've enjoyed this episode, please like, follow, or subscribe to help us continue to showcase these incredible events and the people behind them. Your support allows us to amplify our guest voices and bring more festivals into the spotlight. Thank you again for being here, and I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
That's it.
Well, that was pretty good.